Here we go at 1:12. Welcome back to Central Valley Talk Live. I'm Austin Reed, coming to you from our Tower District studios inside the Mike Briggs building. Happy Wednesday, the 27th of October. So we've just got a couple days left until Halloween. Can't believe that. Hit me up on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Austin Reed on Air. Hey, my next guest joining us live from St. Paul, Minnesota is my good pal, Frank Morganti III. Hey, Frank, welcome to Central Valley Talk. Welcome back. Your second time on now.
Well, thank you for having me back on, Austin. Good afternoon to you out there in Fresno from the Twin Cities.
Yeah, from the Twin Cities where it's, about 50 degrees there?
50 degrees, a little overcast, and we're probably going to get some rain later this afternoon. It's just kind of a nice, dreary, gray day. Good fall day. Good Minnesota fall weather.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, temperatures here right around 66 right now. Partly sunny skies. So, okay, you have some big announcements, and I'm just going to let you take it away.
Yeah, well, you and I, we've been friends before we were on Facebook, but yesterday I made an announcement on Facebook that I have a new job within the menswear industry. So for the past just shy of 6 years, I've worked for Joseph's Bank Clothiers here in the Twin Cities. We had a location in downtown Minneapolis at one time where I started, and then I transferred to the Edina location. Yesterday, I gave my 2 weeks notice because I will be starting with a local business over on the St. Paul side in the Twin Cities called Milburn Clothiers. They've been around since 1946. And this was it was a long-term goal to get on with a local store in the menswear industry. And it's nice to achieve that goal. Now I got to find something new to achieve.
Well, and you are so passionate about men in business looking good.
Yeah, men dressing well, feeling well. And that is my passion. I've worked in the broadcasting industry with you as well, and that's kind of a nice way to mix it where you can get your word out there.
Right.
And what's really nice, and we had chatted a little about this before the interview, about looking back, and you don't realize things until you're able to have the time to look back on it. And looking back on the last 6 years working at a corporate style store, what's going to be nice about working at a local store, and this is going to be nice with local businesses in general in any community, a way that you can do things that you couldn't necessarily do in a corporate store. In other words, not saying that big corporations don't give back. There are many good corporations that do give back, but they're not as local as a mom and pop store. And that's what this is. The gentleman who runs it, his grandfather got it started back in 1946. And in the past, they have given back to the community, and it feels good to work with a store with people who are going to do that, and they have done that. One situation, this was in a newspaper article written about them a couple years ago. They were celebrating a milestone anniversary. They have mentioned at one time a homeless man came to the store, and he said, "I have a job interview, but I don't have a suit." And Mr. Steve Burnick, the current owner of Milburn, he said, "Let's get you the suit for this interview. Pay me when you get the job." And a few weeks later, that man came back and said, "Thank you. I got the job, and I have a check for the purchase of the suit."
Really?
Yeah. And usually in a big corporate store, they're probably not going to be as generous, because everybody has a bottom line. But sometimes the bottom line is community, not money.
Well, yeah, and with corporations, you have to get the approval. It's a whole process. You
hit the nail right on the head, bureaucracy.
Yeah.
In a local store like that, Mr. Milburn probably took that suit at the time, he owns the merchandise. He bought the merchandise, he owns it until he sells it. In a corporate store, the company owns it, and then they own it until they sell it. So you hit the nail right on the head with all the red tape and bureaucracy. Bureaucracy can be a blessing and a curse.
So tell me a little bit about the other things that you're looking forward to in this new aspect of your life.
In the new aspect, it's really nice because working at a corporate store like Joseph's Bank, we were a house brand. So in other words, much like Brooks Brothers, the product that you sell, it's a good product, but it's just the product that was made by your company's factory, and all the labels are the same. A store like Milburn is what you would call a house of brands. In other words, they would go to what's called market in like New York or Chicago, Dallas, Los Angeles, and they work with different vendors, different designers. And so they work with different product lines, and some product lines stay with a store for years on end. Some products go out of business, and therefore it's not carried at the store anymore. I'm really looking forward to the diversity in the product line. And what I have been doing in the last 6 years, I will be carrying on. My goal is to help other people look good while reaching their goals in life. And I've always been interested in the menswear industry, as I've said before, in terms of the history of it, where the product comes from, where it's made, et cetera, et cetera. But once I had my foot in the door 6 years ago, whether it's any kind of job that you go into, you see it from a different lens. And one of those lenses that I got to see was working as a salesman or a haberdasher, whatever you'd like to call it. I got to see the receiving end of somebody getting a new shirt or a new suit or a new pair of shoes. And just, they came back later because they remembered the good service they got, and they said, yes, I did get that promotion, or yes, I did get that job, or yes, she did say yes to getting married, that type of thing. So it's a very good feeling to help people look their best in a way of giving back when you're able to. So
I wanted to talk to you a little bit about some trending styles as we are now, ending 2021, 2022 is coming up. I went shopping the other day, just a couple days ago, and I got this vest for $40. Not too bad. And then I got this tie for $10. I got 4 ties, $10 each, and then I got this shirt. This was $12. And I am going to show off my shoes because I love these. Check. Oh, yeah, I got it.
Now, Austin, just as long as you keep your trousers on, we don't need to see boxes between us.
I'm actually wearing shorts underneath. No, I'm just kidding. But talk, what I'm wearing, I feel like is kind of in style. What do you think?
It is. So here's what you want to remember. Number one, we've come off of a really wacky year and a half. 2020 has been over now for almost 11 months now. We're going into November next week. It's hard to believe that. And you always want to look the best you can within your means. And you always want to buy the best quality that you can afford. And where I'm going with that is, this is where you want to take the time to save the time. Whenever I work with customers, I say that too. I say, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take the time to save the time. In other words, measuring, that kind of thing. But in the case of somebody before they go buy, do your homework, do your research. In other words, find out what you can afford, what you would like, and seeing what is trending. But you have to remember, you want to dress to one's proportion in your body. So in other words, not everybody's going to look in the skin tight, skinny stuff that you're seeing in GQ and Esquire right now. And on the same token, not everybody's going to look good in a traditional boxy cut item either. And so this is where when you go to get fitted for a suit, no matter whether you're spending $250 or $1,500, you want to make sure it's very well tailored. Because good tailoring is going to come in handy. You can make that, $500 suit look like a $5,000 suit.
Interesting.
But I will say this, save up, no matter what your income is, save up and get good quality shoes. And the reason I say that is down the road, the cost per wear goes down. And a good quality shoe is what is called welted. kind of like something being sewn together. So in time, you can send it back to the factory from where it was made or to a local shoe cobbler. They can unwelt the shoe, put new cork fiber in, put a new sole and heel on it, clean up the top, and it's like you have a new pair of shoes. So for a small investment, it makes this pair of shoes last a very long time.
And then as far as what I have been seeing a lot of men wearing like top hats. Those seem to be coming back.
I didn't hear you. What was that?
Top hats?
Top hats?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean like hats in general?
Oh, yeah, just hats in general. But nice.
Oh, yeah, no, hats
ones.
in general. Top hat. Yeah, no, but I mean, that sometimes has to do with TV shows or movies. I know the TV series The Blacklist has been pretty popular, and James Spader's character wears a fedora. And that's another thing you want to be careful with hats, too. Much like clothing, again, you want to do the research. In that case, you want to take your facial structure and your head size into accommodation, because you don't want something that's too small, and you don't want something that's falling over your eyes either.
Yeah, exactly.
And once upon a time, the hat was a serious piece of accessories for men. I know when President Truman heard that at the time, Vice President Truman heard that Franklin Delano Roosevelt had passed away. He was across Washington, D.C. at a meeting, and they said, "We have to get you over to the White House for the oath of office." He said, "Well, before we do that, I got to stop and get my hat."
Really? Oh, interesting. Wow. I love
But that was in the late 40s, mid to late 40s. So that was a time where you weren't seen in public without a hat.
Right. Exactly. Times have changed. But and then also, it seems like shiny ties are in.
I'm sorry, trying times?
Shiny ties, like
shiny tie. There's different types of finishes. So like a shiny tie has more of a like a satin finish.
Yeah.
And then there are ties that have more of a jacquard or woven finish. So they're made from the same material, but that is more of a personal preference thing. Sometimes shiny ties are more for a party setting, where smoother finish ties are more for a conservative occasion like work, weddings, funerals, job interviews, that type of thing.
Right.
And it's kind of hit and miss too on some of those things. When in doubt, keep it simple. That's the best advice I can give right now.
Okay.
And now that things are kind of opening up more and more people are kind of going out. Don't be afraid to step it up a little bit. You could do a sport coat without a tie. And if you don't do a tie, whether you do a tie or not, I always recommend, see if you can see here, a nice pocket square.
Yes. Pocket squares are very important.
Yeah, and they, much like ties, they come in good materials such as silk, cotton, linen, wool, and sometimes like a silk wool blend. And I really like the silk wool blend because they hold better. Sometimes the silk can get too slippery, and it stay put. But it's one of those things, you experiment with it, you play with it. And also, when wearing a pocket square, there's two things to keep in mind. The size of a pocket square, how big or small it was cut, and the size of the coat pocket. Both of those things are dramatically different. You have some manufacturers that make small breast pockets and large breast pockets, and you have some manufacturers that make small pocket squares and large pocket squares. So it's something that you kind of want to play with because it's Goldilocks. You don't want it to fall into the pocket, but you don't want it to pop out either.
Yeah, exactly.
Just right.
I have a friend here in Fresno. I call him the best dressed man in Fresno. His name is Leo Kim, and he owns the United Conservatory of Music. And he is he's just always looking, like $1 million. But one thing I noticed is he always wears his jacket. He's generally got a vest, but he wears if I was to kind of stand up and show right here, I know that's not a fantastic viewpoint, but I'm trying to set the story. It's like a chain.
Oh, a chain, like on his trouser?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I've seen that. So in the olden days, the chain on the vest would have been for a pocket watch.
Okay.
And then the chain on the trouser, what I've seen, that's either for a pocket watch or like a package of keys, like you have a little pouch for your keys. And, having not seen a picture, but I have a pair of trousers that has a small little slip pocket in the front, and you can put a pocket watch in there. And so like what you could do is have the chain made and have like a little clasp or a slide and slide that onto the waistband. And I've seen pictures of that. And usually in the olden days when I'd seen chains on the pants, most of the time it was for like the keychain.
Right.
And the other time, sometimes it would be for a pocket watch. But back then, most men wore the pocket watch on the vest for obvious reasons, because it was easier to look at the watch. But if they weren't wearing the vest, they could wear the pocket watch on the waist of their trouser and unbutton the coat and have a look at it there and see what time it is, and then put the watch back into the pant waist. So his chain is either a chain, I'm guessing, for a watch or a set of keys.
So people can find you at your new location. Central Valley Talk, of course, is broadcast all over the world. So if we have any viewers in the St. Paul or Twin Cities area watching today or on our replay, they can visit you for more advice. You're going to be starting there what day?
I'll be starting Monday, November 15th of this year. So in about a little over 2 weeks.
And where is Haberdasher?
So Millburn is in the Midway neighborhood of St. Paul. So it's near the intersection of Snelling Avenue and University Avenue, near the Allianz Field soccer stadium. So it's in an old neighborhood, but an old neighborhood that's been revitalized over the years.
Very good, very good. Well, hey, Frank, good luck at the new job, and people can connect with you on Facebook. Just they can look up Frank Morganti III if they have any maybe any other questions about menswear. So
yeah, we'd be happy to help you and help you look your best. And the store has wonderful options. They have ready to wear as well as made to measure.
I love it. I love it. Frank, thank you so much. We'll see you next time.
Always
Okay.
great to see you.
Great to see you, my friend. I'm Austin Reed. You're watching Central Valley Talk. We'll be back in the 2 o'clock hour.